My name is Annika Völp. I'm an application specialist for extrusion at Thermo Fisher Scientific, and I present in the next 50 minutes how twin screw mixing advances the battery manufacturing and research. I start with presenting twin screw technology on the first slide. In general, the task of the parallel twin screw extruder is to apply thermal and mechanical energy to create a dispersion and shape it. Solid materials such as the anode or cathode active material and carbon black are fed into the extruder barrel and sheared. During melt extrusion, a polymeric binder is added, which is melted in the heated twin screw barrel. In wet extrusion, solvents and binders are added to the barrel via a liquid feeding system. All materials are mixed, sheared and compacted and pushed through a die. The parameters to be controlled include material feed rates, screw speed and the temperatures of the various barrel zones at the die. These settings influence the measurable parameters such as the material temperature and the pressure in the die, as well as the screw torque and the material residence time. An important process parameter is the specific mechanical energy input, or SME, which is calculated from the power required for the mixing or the torque that applies to the screws. With a die attached, the material can be formed into pellets or sheets if its viscosity allows. This applies for semi-dry electrode processing, but most often electrode slurries are required. For mixing those, no die is needed, as presented on the following slide. Because extrusion is defined as shaping material by pushing it through a die, we speak of a twin screw mixer then when no die applies. With such a twin screw mixing setup, battery materials can be mixed with and without the use of solvents. The mechanical and the thermal energy input in the material is defined by the screw design, the screw speed, the feed rates, and the mixer temperature. No pressure is applied to the material. It is conveyed without any constriction out of the mixer and collected in a container. Twin screw mixers can be applied at several points in the battery manufacturing workflow, as shown on the next slide. So, for example, for compounding electrode active materials, twin screw mixers can be used, for example, for granulating silicon anode materials and fully solvent-free cathode materials. They are also used in the process of dry electrodes. Separator film production. Conventionally, separator films are produced by extrusion, and it's a well-developed process. But for novel battery concepts such as solid-state batteries and gel polymer separators, lab-scale twin screw extruders are particularly beneficial. For electrode manufacturing, twin screw mixers enable the continuous mixing of cathode or anode slurries, and this offers a beneficial alternative to batch mode mixing, typically done with planetary mixers. In manufacturing, the twin screw mixers provide the following benefits over planetary mixers. The reproducibility is better. Twin screw mixers ensure there are no batch-to-batch variations, enhancing the consistency of the production process. There's less need for manual operation, reducing the impact of the individual operator handling. The higher shear forces in the twin screw mixers lead to superior dispersion quality. This results in fewer screen changes and less blockage of the downstream filters before the coater. The process also introduces fewer impurities, significantly reducing the presence of unwanted particles in the slurries. Twin screw mixers require less physical space, offering a reduced footprint. They also demand less cleaning and maintenance, saving both time and labor. Material effectiveness is enhanced. The mixing process is significantly faster with twin screw mixers, completing the task rather in minutes than hours. Continuous processing minimizes then the material losses, making the process more efficient. Twin screw mixers are also effective for large-scale dry processing, which we talk about later. Twin screw mixers provide good scalability due to the large surface-to-volume ratio in the mixer, making it easy to transition from lab-scale experiments to full production. High material and time consumption in manufacturing scale create the need for lab-scale twin screw mixers for advancing battery R&D. A downscaled solution is presented now on the following slide. Lab-scale twin screw mixers are essential for developing and testing new battery materials efficiently. They also allow researchers to optimize formulations with small quantities before scaling it up. Here you see the Energy 11 twin screw mixer. The Energy 11 features a patented design that prevents dust entry, ideal in research and pilot scale environments. It includes a detachable touchscreen. It has 7 adjustable heating zones, an integrated data visualization, and exchangeable contact parts for easy cleaning and preventing cross-contamination. The split barrel design allows for faster cleaning and quick material switches. It also enables observations of the material along the screw after an abrupt stop, providing valuable insights. Exchangeable barrels prevent cross-contamination by using dedicated barrels for specific materials, like one for the anode and one for the cathode mixing. Lab-scale extruders, like those from Thermo Fisher Scientific, are designed for small quantities and confined spaces like glove boxes. They are essential for a sensitive battery material requiring a dry or an inert atmosphere, but also ensuring the operator safety from toxic solvents and powders. Segmented screw design and multiple feed ports make twin screw extruders ideal for R&D. The screw configuration and dosing positions can be adjusted quickly for precise control. And unlike dissolvers and centrifugal mixers, these extruders offer more parameters to manipulate, enhancing then the optimization. Available screw elements to design a screw configuration are shown on the next slide. Here you see screw elements like the discharge element that increases the pressure at the die entry here on the left, conveying elements with various lengths and conveying directions, distributive mixing elements that mix with minimum shear, and dispersive mixing elements that apply increasing shear force with increasing offset angle when arranged in mixing blocks. Those elements are arranged like beads on a string to fulfill a specific series of processing units. An example for this is shown on the next slide. This screw design of a parallel twin screw mixer is an example from polymer processing, and here it determines the material processing units from right to left. Powders are fed into the main feed onto the elements with a wide screw gap. This zone is cooled that the powder does not melt and block the port. In the next barrel zones, a temperature profile is set to melt the material and control its viscosity. Next, there is a zone with conveying elements. Optionally, liquids may be fed into this zone. The first kneading zone plasticizes the material by shearing. A second conveying zone allows for secondary powder feeding. The next compounding zone mixes all materials. And in the third conveying zone, gases could be removed by venting the barrel. Finally, the pressure is built up and the material is pushed through the die. The screw design is specific to the material and the unit operations that the material is supposed to undergo. Some battery mixing applications can be realized with the appropriate twin screw mixer designs, and they are highlighted on the next slide. Here you see the variety of morphologies that the battery materials can be produced with a twin screw extruder, as electrode slurries, dry mixed electrodes, semi-dry films, and solid-state electrolytes. Next, we want to focus on twin screw slurry mixing. Let's dive into electrode slurry mixing and the impact of the screw design. Deagglomeration of carbon black is a significant challenge in the mixing of the electrode slurries. Through simulations of a digital twin and experience with 3 different kneading section designs, shown here on the top, 2 different throughput rates, 4 screw speeds, a correlation was found between process parameters and the particle distribution of the anode paste. In the left graph, you see the particle size distribution in anode slurries mixed with the different screw designs and different screw speed. The dispersion index can be calculated from the median of the carbon black fraction from the size distribution. The higher it is, the smaller are the carbon black agglomerates. The specific feed load is the volumetric throughput divided by the screw speed and the screw diameter cubed. The left graph shows a good correlation of the dispersion index with the reciprocal feed load and a decrease in carbon black deagglomeration with increasing screw speed. Therefore, the specific feed load provides a good basis for scaling anode slurry mixing, assuring consistent carbon black deagglomeration. On the next slide, we see the screw speed impact on carbon black deagglomeration in SEM images. These SEM images of graphite anodes mixed with a twin screw mixer at 120 RPM and 900 RPM screw speed respectively show carbon black agglomerates on the larger graphite particle flakes. Higher screw speed and thereby higher shear impact result here in a higher amount of smaller carbon black agglomerates. Next, we see the screw speed impact on another material. Here you see an LFP cathode. The LFP size distribution was widened and decreased because this screw design led to breakage of the LFP particles. The effect increases with higher screw speed due to higher shear, and it's probably not a wanted effect. These two examples show that the screw design and the speed needs to be adapted to the specific materials. When a suitable screw and a process design is developed at the end, the next step is to scale it up. Some guidance is given now in the next slide. We can effectively transfer the knowledge from lab to production, ensuring process consistency and maintaining product quality if we follow some rules. To ensure consistency, we must use the same screw design in both lab and production environments. It is crucial to maintain a constant ratio of the length of the screw, L, to the outer screw diameter, DO, ensuring similar mixing and melting behavior. The ratio of the screw outer to inner diameter should remain constant. It ensures the same filling conditions in the voids of the screws. Keeping the ratio between screw to barrel distance and screw outer diameter constant is essential. This helps in achieving the same shear rate at the same screw speed. Then we should use the same screw speed in both settings to maintain the same mixing intensity. Maintaining the same steel temperature is important to ensure thermal consistency throughout the process. But have in mind that the heating surface to volume ratio drops in decreasing with decreasing screw diameter, as shown here in the graph on the right. A simple law to scale up the throughput is then to keep the specific feed load constant. If that is done, the throughput can further be adjusted to obtain the same specific mechanical energy, which is a measure of the energy input into the material per unit mass. Therefore, you can change the throughput to achieve the same torque. However, in wet slurry processing, it is most often so low that keeping the specific feed load constant is usually sufficient. If you can measure the material residence time, it should remain the same to ensure similar processing conditions and material properties. The melt temperature should also be consistent between lab and production to maintain the same material thermal history. By adhering to these principles, the material's experience within the process should be the same, ensuring process consistency and maintaining product quality. On the next slide, the different sizes of Thermo Fisher Scientific twin screw mixers are presented. The smallest is the tabletop Energy 11 with 11 mm screw diameter. Besides that, also larger twin screw mixers with 16 mm and 24 mm screw diameters are available. This portfolio covers a material throughput range from 100 milliliter per hour to up to 20 liter for battery slurries. Unlike production scale twin screw mixers, they are easily operated by just one person and require very small sample volumes and are scalable to larger sizes. These features enable to save time and money on application testing, develop products and test materials at small scale, and to gain process experience and train operators for large-scale machines. The image on the upper right shows the equal material flow velocity simulated for all of these three sizes, and this gives a glimpse into a submitted publication on scaling continuous battery slurry production. Now let's have a look onto dry processing in the next slide. The conventional manufacturing of lithium-ion battery electrodes involves mixing active materials and additives with a solvent to create slurry, coating it onto a current collector foil, drying, calendering it to the desired density and height, and laser slitting the electrodes. Twin screw mixers offer the potential to mix electrode materials with binders and additives using little or no solvent due to higher shear energy input. The mixed material can be directly fed into a roller press and calendared onto the current collector foil without drying. This saves a lot of energy. Suitable binder formulations like PTFE or PVDF allow the dry cathode granulate mix to be calendared directly onto the current collector foil. PTFE forms fibrils under shear to bind the particles. but the shear must be controlled for proper fibrillation. Sheet extrusion of the electrode material is also possible, providing more uniform dosage of the calender, but it requires about 20% of solvent. Twin screw mixing reduces solvent use, energy, drying costs, and saves space by eliminating the drying line. However, dry electrode processing remains at pilot scale due to challenges in calendering and scale-up. The next slide discusses a study on screw design for dry processing. The screw design determines the specific energy input applied to the material. Here you see two screw designs, with 5 mixing blocks and one without any mixing blocks. Below are SEM images of LFP cathode material mixed with PTFE using the two screw designs. The left SEM image shows the cathode mixed with 5 kneading blocks. The PTFE fibrils are small and well distributed. The right SEM image shows the cathode mixed without kneading blocks. The PTFE fibrils are much larger because the mixing here relies only on particle-particle interactions, and the lower energy input is insufficient to evenly disperse the PTFE. However, now let's examine the cycling capacity of half cells made from these materials compared to a wet cathode mix in a planetary mixer as a reference, shown in the graph on the right. The cathode mix without kneading blocks in blue exhibits the highest capacity at all cycling rates over 40 cycles. The cathode mix with 5 kneading blocks in black has the lowest capacity and cycling stability. This study suggests that the PTFE fibrils in the strongly sheared sample isolate the conductive pathways leading to inactivation of the LFP. This highlights the importance of tailoring the screw design to provide the right energy input for the specific PTFE grade. And this brings us to the summary of the presentation on twin screw mixing for processing dry electrodes. I would like to highlight the following points. In manufacturing, twin screw mixers allow for the modification of shear effects by adjusting the screw design and processing parameters such as screw speed, temperature, and material throughput. When applied for continuous wet and dry electrode paste mixing, they provide great processing flexibility and quality consistency to achieve a superior carbon black deagglomeration and dispersion and good PTFE fibrillation and binder distribution. Continuous mixing also leads to high quality consistency, reduced downtime, and less cleaning effort. Twin screw mixers are easier to scale compared to planetary mixers or dissolvers. Lab-scale twin screw mixers offer scalable mixing technology for the development of formulations and screw designs with small sample quantity and minimal space consumption in glove boxes or dry rooms. To find out more, please visit thermofisher.com/battery-extrusion.